The power of silence. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. I want to start with a question. Have you ever spent nights repping a conversation in your head, crafting the perfect comeback, or trying to understand why someone treated you the way they did? You sit there heart-racing, thinking, if only I had said this, if only they could see what they did, if only they cared as much as I do. But here's the truth, they won't. And they care more than I do. Even if they could, would it change anything in 2025? Let's stop reacting. Let's stop explaining, overextending, and proving ourselves to people who don't see our value. Instead, let's do something powerful. Let's cut them off silently. Silence is not weakness. It is not avoidance. It is not a lack of words or an inability to defend yourself. Silence is a decision, a conscious, deliberate act of self-control and self-preservation. When someone disrespects you, betrays you, or continuously takes you for granted, the natural instinct is to react, to call them out, to demand an explanation, to make them see the pain they've caused. But here's the harsh truth. People who hurt you intentionally or repeatedly are not looking for understanding. They are looking for control. They are looking for your reaction because your reaction feeds them. It reassures them that they still hold space in your life, that they still affect you. Silence, on the other hand, and starves them when you refuse to engage in unnecessary drama. You are sending a message without saying a single word, and that message is clear. You are no longer worthy of my time, my energy, or my emotions. Why is silence so powerful? Silence removes their power over you. Every time you react, you hand over control. If someone knows they can push your buttons and get a response, they will keep doing it. But when you respond with silence, you disrupt their expectation. They no longer have access to your emotions. They don't know what you're thinking, feeling, or planning, and that in itself is unsettling to them. Silence creates mystery and uncertainty. There is something deeply unsettling about a person who simply stops reacting. Silence speaks louder, stops engaging. When you cut someone off silently, they begin to question everything. Did they figure me out? Do they not care anymore? Are they doing better without me? Suddenly, you are no longer predictable. They lose the ability to manipulate your emotions and emotions. And that can be more powerful than any words you could ever say. Silence forces self-reflection. When you stop arguing, stop explaining, stop begging to be understood, you create space for them to sit with themselves, for them to face their own actions without your influence. Some people never change, but if they ever do, it won't be because you screamed at them. It will be because they sat in silence and finally saw themselves for who they are. Silence is the highest form of self-respect. Walking away without creating a scene, without justifying yourself, is a form of self-respect. You are saying, I do not need to prove my worth to anyone. You are choosing peace over chaos. And that is something only strong, self-assured people can do. Silence is freedom. Reacting, explaining, overanalyzing, it all keeps you tethered to a situation that does not serve you. But when you embrace silence, you free yourself. You step into a space where your energy is no longer dictated by someone else's actions. You reclaim your peace, your dignity, and your power. The hardest part about silence is not easy. It requires strength to resist the urge to react, to explain, to defend yourself. It takes courage to let go of the need to be understood, but in the long run, silence will always serve you better than words. Words spoken in anger, frustration, or pain. So when someone tries to bait you into an argument, remember this. You do not owe them a reaction. Your silence is an answer, and often it is the most powerful answer of all. One of the most exhausting things we do in life is explaining ourselves, our choices, our boundaries, our silence to people who have already made up their minds about us. We pour our energy into crafting the perfect response, replaying conversations in our heads, and justifying decisions that were never up for debate in the first place. But here's the truth, not everyone deserves an explanation. There are people who will never understand you because they don't want to. There are people who will twist your words, diminish your experiences, and gaslight you into questioning yourself. And then there are those who simply do not care. So why waste your breath? Why you don't owe everyone an explanation? Your worth is not up for discussion. Imagine trying to explain your value to someone who doesn't even see it. That's what happens when you constantly justify your actions to people who don't respect you. If someone refuses to acknowledge your worth, no amount of explaining will make them see it. Your value is not a negotiation, it's a fact. Some people just want to argue, not understand. Have you ever explained yourself to someone only not everyone deserves an explanation for? Them to twist your words, dismiss your feelings, or shift the blame? That's because their goal was never to understand. You were just entertainment to them when you realize that some people engage in conversations just to provoke, not to listen. You learn that silence is the best response. Explanations won't change people who benefit from misunderstanding you. Some people thrive on manipulating others. They enjoy making you feel guilty for choosing yourself, and they feed off your need to be understood. No matter how much you explain, they will always find a way to twist the narrative to suit their interests. In these cases, the best thing you can do is walk away without a word. You don't need permission to protect your peace. One of the biggest mistakes we make is feeling like we owe people an explanation when we set boundaries. But the truth is, you don't need permission to do what's best for you. If you need to cut someone off, distance yourself, or say no, you can do so without providing a PowerPoint presentation on why closure doesn't always come from the other person. It comes from you. We often seek closure by trying to explain ourselves, hoping that the other person will finally get it and acknowledge your perspective. But real closure is not about them understanding. It's about you deciding that their understanding is not required for your healing. Silence speaks louder than explanations. When you stop explaining, you force people to sit with the consequences of their actions. Let them wonder. Let them fill in the blanks. Your silence will say everything that words never could. How to stop explaining yourself? Practice saying no without adding, because no is a full sentence. Resist the urge to justify your boundaries. You set them for a reason. Remind yourself that some people won't get it, and that's okay. Your growth is not meant to be understood by everyone. Understand that. Walking away without explaining is a sign of strength, not weakness. Have you ever been over backward, trying to prove your worth to someone who barely acknowledged you? Have you ever exhausted yourself seeking approval from people who wouldn't lift a finger for you? If so, it's time to ask yourself a powerful question. Why are you looking for validation in places where you are not valued? It's human nature to want to be seen, heard, and appreciated. We all crave acknowledgement, especially from those we admire, love, or respect. But too often we direct that need toward the wrong people. People who do not respect us, who do not care for our well-being, or who only validate us when it benefits them. Seeking validation from those who don't value you is like knocking on a locked door, begging to be let in, while your own house stands wide open behind you. You don't need to chase after people who refuse to see you. Instead, turn your attention to the place where you are already valued, where your presence is appreciated, and where your worth is not up for debate. Why seeking validation from the wrong people hurts you. It keeps you trapped in a cycle of self-doubt. When you keep trying to impress people who refuse to see your value, you start. Don't seek validation from those who don't value you, to wonder if maybe you aren't enough. But the problem isn't you. The problem is that you are looking for approval in the wrong places. You are handing over your self-worth to people who will never appreciate it. It gives power to people who don't deserve it. The moment you make someone else the source of your confidence, you give them control over your emotions. If they approve of you, you feel good. If they ignore you, you feel worthless. That's too much power to give to someone who doesn't even respect you. True confidence comes from within, not from external validation. It makes you shrink yourself to fit their standards. Have you ever changed your personality, opinions, or even appearance just to get approval from someone? This is what happens when you seek validation from people who don't value you. Start molding yourself into whatever you think they will like, rather than being your authentic self. And that's exhausting. It blinds you to the people who truly appreciate you. While you're busy chasing after those who don't see your worth, you're ignoring the people who do, the friends who support you, the family who loves you, the colleagues who respect you. Instead of looking for validation from those who will never give it, turn toward the people who have always valued you. It wastes your time and energy. Imagine pouring all your effort into proving yourself to someone who will never care. Now imagine using that same energy to build yourself up, pursue your goals, and surround yourself with people who uplift you. Which one sounds like a better use of your time? How to stop seeking validation from the wrong people. Ask yourself, why do I need their approval? Is it because you admire them? Is it because you want to prove them wrong? Is it because you're afraid of rejection? Understanding your own motivations will help you break free, recognize when someone is not capable of valuing you. Some people lack the emotional depth to appreciate others, Some are too self-absorbed to notice your efforts, and some withhold validation intentionally to keep you seeking it. Once you see this, you'll stop looking to them for approval. Focus on what you think of yourself. Instead of asking, do they like me? Start asking, do I like me? Am I proud of who I am? Your opinion of yourself is what truly matters. Surround yourself with people who uplift you. Be with those who celebrate you, not those who tolerate you. If someone constantly makes you feel like you have to earn their approval, they are not your people. Validate yourself. The most powerful thing you can do is become your own biggest source of validation. Recognize your own worth, remind yourself of your strengths, and stop waiting for someone else to confirm what you already know. You are enough. There's a common misconception that when we set boundaries, we have to make a big declaration, that we need to sit people down, give long speeches, explain our reasons, and get their approval. But boundaries don't need an announcement. Here's the truth. Boundaries don't need an announcement. They just need to be enforced. A boundary is not about what you tell others. It's about what you do. It's not about issuing warnings, threats, or ultimatums. It's about quietly and firmly deciding what you will and won't tolerate, and then standing by that decision without the need for validation or permission. Why? You don't need to announce your boundaries. Actions speak louder than words. And bouncing a boundary is easy. Maintaining it is what truly matters. You don't have to explain to someone, if you continue to disrespect me, I will walk away. You simply walk away when the disrespect happens. No speeches, no debates, just action. Some people will test your boundaries no matter what you say. There are people who hear your boundary as a challenge. They will push, manipulate, and guilt trip you to see if you really mean it. Instead of wasting energy convincing them, just hold your ground. Let your consistent actions show them where you stand. Explaining your boundaries invites arguments. The moment you announce a boundary, certain people will try to debate it. They'll say you're being dramatic, unreasonable, or selfish. They'll guilt you into reconsidering, but when you simply enforce your boundary without explanation, you remove the opportunity for them to challenge it. You don't owe everyone an explanation. Your boundaries exist to protect your peace, not to make others comfortable. You don't need to justify why you won't answer late night calls, why you're distancing yourself from toxic people, or why you no longer tolerate disrespect. If something is not working for you, that's reason enough. People learn your boundaries by experiencing them. You don't have to tell someone, I won't tolerate constant negativity. Instead, when the negativity starts, you disengage. When someone consistently drains your energy, you gradually step back. Over time, people realize what you will and won't allow, not because you told them, but because you showed them how to enforce boundaries without announcing them. Stop over-explaining. If you decline an invitation, you don't need to say, I'm really tired and I have so much going on and I just can't make it. I hope you understand. Instead, simply say, I won't be able to make it, but thank you for the invite. That's it. No need to justify your choice. Let your actions do the talking. If someone repeatedly disrespects you, don't waste time arguing about it. Just distance yourself. If someone always asks for favors but never reciprocates, stop saying yes. The less you explain, the clearer your boundary becomes. Don't give second chances where they aren't deserved. If you tell someone, if you do this again, I'm done, and, then let them do it again, your boundary loses meaning. Instead, act on it. Once you enforce a boundary, stand by it. Be comfortable with silence. Some people will demand explanations when you set a boundary. They will ask, why have you changed? Why are you being distant? Why won't you do this for me anymore? You don't owe them a detailed answer. A shift focus to what nourishes you. Simple. This is what's best for me right now is enough. Trust that. Real respect doesn't require justification. The people who truly respect you won't need an explanation for your boundaries. They will just honor them. The ones who argue, guilt trip, or get angry, they are only benefiting from you not having boundaries in the first place. In a world that constantly demands your attention, energy, and time, it's easy to get caught up in things that drain you. Negative relationships, stressful environments, endless obligations, and the need for external validation. But if you spend all your time focusing on what exhausts you, how will you ever have the space to grow? It's time to make a shift. A shift from depletion to nourishment. A shift from what takes away to what gives back. A shift from surviving to thriving. Instead of focusing on what drains you, start focusing on what nourishes you. The things, people, and habits that fill you up. restore your energy and make you feel alive. When you redirect your attention to what sustains you, life becomes richer, more fulfilling, and more aligned with who you are meant to be. Why you need to focus on nourishment. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you keep giving your energy to people and situations that drain you, eventually you'll have nothing left. You'll wake up exhausted, frustrated, and disconnected from yourself. True fulfillment comes when you take time to replenish what you give. What you focus on grows. If you focus on stress, you will feel more stressed. If you focus on negativity, you will feel weighed down. But if you focus on peace, joy, and personal growth, those things will expand in your life. Your attention is like sunlight. Whatever you shine it on will grow. Your well-being depends on where you invest your energy. Think of your energy as a bank account. Are you constantly making withdrawals, or are you also making deposits? If you only give and never refill, you will find yourself in emotional, mental, and even physical debt. You owe it to yourself to invest in what strengthens you. You become what you surround yourself with. Your environment shapes you. The conversations you engage in, the people you interact with, the content you consume. These things influence your mindset, emotions, and overall well-being. Surround yourself with what uplifts, inspires, and nourishes you. How to shift? Focus to what nourishes you. Identify what drains you and release it. Take an honest look at your life. What relationships, habits, or commitments leave you feeling exhausted rather than fulfilled? If something consistently drains your energy, it's time to set boundaries. Step back or let it go. Prioritize activities that bring you peace and joy. What makes you feel happy, energized, and whole? Is it reading, nature, creative projects, exercise, time alone, meaningful conversations? Whatever it is, make space for it in your life. Your joy is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Nurture relationships that nourish you. Spend time with people who support, inspire, and encourage you. Let go. Your healing is yours alone. Of relationships that are one-sided, toxic, or emotionally exhausting, the right people will pour into you just as much as you pour into them. Protect your time and energy. Stop saying yes to things that don't align with your values. Learn to say no without guilt. Your time is sacred. Spend it wisely on things that add value to your life. Feed your mind and soul with positive input. The things you read, listen to, and watch shape your thoughts. If you consume negativity, you will feel negative. Instead, choose books, music, podcasts, and conversations that nourish your mind and uplift your spirit. Practice gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's already abundant in your life. Take time each day to acknowledge what is good, fulfilling, and nourishing. Gratitude is one of the fastest ways to cultivate a mindset of abundance. Take care of your body. Nourishment isn't just emotional and mental, it's also physical. Eat foods that make you feel good. Move your body in ways that bring you joy. And rest when you need to. A well-cared-for body supports a well-cared-for mind. Engage in meaningful work, whether it's your career, a side passion, or personal projects. Invest time in something that gives you a sense of purpose. Work that aligns with your values will always feel more nourishing than work that simply pays the bills. Healing is one of the most personal and sacred journeys you will ever embark on. It is not a group project. It is not something that requires permission, validation, or approval from others. Your healing is yours too. Often we look for external validation to confirm that we are healing the right way. We want people to acknowledge our pain, to understand why we are distancing ourselves, to apologize, or to finally take responsibility for the harm they've caused. But here's the truth. Your healing does not depend on anyone but you. No one else is living in your body. No one else carries your emotions, your memories, or your experiences. No one else has felt your pain in the way you have, and because of that, no one else gets to decide how, when, or if you heal. Why your healing belongs to you. You don't need permission to heal. Some people will not like the way you heal. They will accuse you of being distant, cold, or selfish. They will question why you aren't over it yet. But your healing is not up for discussion. You do not need to justify your process to anyone. If stepping away, setting boundaries, or taking time for yourself is what you need, then that is what you do, period. Not everyone will understand your pain. Some people will minimize what you've been through because they have never experienced it. Others may have caused your pain and refuse to acknowledge it, but their lack of understanding does not make your pain any less real. Healing is not about convincing others or struggle. It's about finding peace within yourself. Healing doesn't need an audience. Social media has created a culture where people feel they need to announce every step of their journey, but walking away in power, not pain. True healing happens in the quiet moments when no one is watching. It happens in the tears you cry alone, in the journal pages no one will ever read, in the nights you choose peace over revenge. Your healing is personal. It does not require validation from anyone. Closure is not always external. Many of us delay our healing because we are waiting for closure and apology and explanation or acknowledgement of the pain we endured. But sometimes closure never comes. Sometimes the people who hurt us will never take accountability. That doesn't mean you can't heal. It means you give yourself the closure they refuse to give you. Healing happens on your timeline, not anyone else's. People will tell you to move on, forgive and forget, or stop thinking about it. But healing is not about rushing through pain just to make others comfortable. Healing is about moving at your own pace, even if that means taking months or years to process what you've been through. No one else gets to dictate when you should be over it. Healing is not linear. One day you may feel strong and at peace. The next, an old memory may reassert us. And suddenly you're hurting again. That does not mean you're failing. It means you're human. Healing is full of ups and downs, and that is okay. What matters is that you keep choosing yourself, even on the hard days. How to take ownership of your healing. Stop seeking validation for your pain. You do not need anyone else to confirm that what you went through was difficult. If it hurt you, then it mattered. Period. Set boundaries that protect your peace. Healing often requires creating distance from the people, environments, or situations that cause you harm. Do not feel guilty for protecting yourself. Allow yourself to feel everything. Healing is not just about feeling better, it's about feeling everything. The grief, the anger, the disappointment, the sadness. Let yourself process these emotions without shame. Forgive yourself for not knowing better sooner. Sometimes healing involves forgiving yourself for the things you tolerated before you knew your worth. Release the guilt and show yourself grace. Seek what nourishes you. Healing is not just about moving what hurts, it's about adding what helps. Find conclusion. Let your growth speak for itself. Practices that bring you peace, whether it's therapy, journaling, meditation, art, nature, or time alone. Let go of the need for closure from others. Closure is a gift you give yourself, not something you wait for from someone else. Create your own ending and free yourself from the weight of waiting. Understand that healing is a lifelong process. There is no final destination where you are completely healed and never feel pain again. Healing is ongoing, and that's okay. The goal is not perfection. The goal is growth in 2025. Let this be the year you reclaim your energy, protect your peace, and prioritize your healing without explanation, without apology, and without hesitation. You do not need to react. Not everyone deserves access to your emotions. Silence is sometimes the most powerful response you can get. Walking away without a word speaks volumes. You do not need to explain yourself. Not everyone deserves an explanation for why you are choosing yourself. If something drains you, distracts you, or diminishes your peace, let it go without debate, without justification. You do not need validation. Stop seeking approval from people who do not value you. Their opinions do not define your worth. You are enough just as you are. You do not need to announce your boundaries. Set them quietly and enforce them firmly. Boundaries are not about changing others. They are about protecting yourself. You do not need to focus on what drains you. Shift your energy to what nourishes your relationships, habits, and environments that uplift, restore, and empower you. And most importantly, your healing is yours. It does not require permission. It does not require an audience. It is personal, sacred, and fully in your hand. So this year, instead of reacting, arguing, or explaining, choose silence, choose distance, choose yourself. Because the most powerful transformation happens not when you prove your worth to others, but when you silently walk away and let your growth speak for itself.